You are about to enter the fantasy football show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. Smitty is live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Get on-demand one-on-one text advice with Smitty at thefantasyfootballshow.com.
You are about to enter the fantasy football show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón.
Get on-demand one-on-one text advice with Smitty at thefantasyfootballshow.com.
You are about to enter the fantasy football show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. Smitty is live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. You are about to enter the fantasy football show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. You are about to enter the fantasy football show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al...
Live from the fantasyfootballshow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
That is right. You are here. You are home. Welcome home. Everybody that's new, hit that subscribe button and punch the thumbs up. We're getting into the news. We're breaking it down now.
From the fantasyfootballshow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
A lot of people are going to be freaking out right now because of a report that came out from a beat writer from the Seattle Times. Okay, I'm getting DM after DM. It's almost out of control. And this Seattle Times beat writer wrote that he expects, one man, like my grandma could come out and just say, I just have an announcement to make. I think the batteries, I didn't get the batteries, by the way. I got to order those batteries. Actually, it's working good now. I believe that Kenneth Walker will start in week 8. I decided he's starting in week 8.
Mashed potatoes!
Anybody can say anything. Anybody can say anything. We're going to talk about it on the Panic Chamber, okay? We'll get into more detail. But what the report said was that according to the Seattle Times writers, Rashaad Penny is the primary back in week 1. We all know that to be true. We all know that to be true. Penny's starting week 1 unless he gets hurt beforehand. Penny's starting week 1. The thing I don't get is that people act like this is new information. And when somebody comes out with it and says that Rashaad Penny's starting week 1, he knows the playbook, he knows the plays, he's the veteran, he's going to start off week 1. But you don't draft this guy as high as the Seahawks drafted him. 2 offensive linemen and Kenneth Walker all consumed their first 3 draft picks, rounds 1, 2, and 3 in the 2022 NFL draft. You don't draft this guy to be your change of pace back. Kenneth Walker's time is coming. It's not a matter of if, it's when. And that's why every single one of you out there that's not listening to me when I say draft him, at least late round 6, but preferably I'm asking you to wait till round 7. In our mock drafts, you guys keep drafting him in round 5 over and over and over again because you want to have him on your roster before the mock draft ends. You don't want to be sniped, so you take him in 5, ruining his ADP. Ruining his ADP. Kenny Walker is a round 7 gift. A gift to every single one of you. Early Christmas gift. You either take advantage of it or you don't. He's going to not start week 1. And I can't tell you how many Bobs and Fantasy Karens are going to come in here and say, Smitty, this is Javonte all over again. I decided I'm jumping ship. I know you like him, but I just don't have a good vibe, Smitty. It sounds like Penny's the guy. It sounds like they're going to start him out. No crap, Bob. No crap. Does anybody think different? Did you get any indication from me? And I've been beating this like a dead horse for over a month now. Am I saying he's going to start week 1? No. And for some reason, these reports, I knew it was going to happen. I thought I'd have a little more time before I started getting DMs and messages left and right telling me, Smitty, are we worried? Are we worried? Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. We're in the same situation we were yesterday, the day before. This is an injured man, Rashaad Penny. Here are the facts. Penny is the day 1 starter unless he's injured. Number 2, Penny starting week 1 is not new news. Let's go to step number 3. Penny staying healthy is a tall order, a very tall order. That alone puts this man right here in the driver's seat at some point, even if he's not better than Rashaad Penny, even if I'm wrong, even if your boy Smitty doesn't know what he's talking about. The odds are extremely high that at some point this man's coming in because this guy's had a whole lot of time to prove he can stay healthy and he hasn't done it. Is he good? Yeah, he's good. He was a first rounder, okay? Put a little respect on his name. I'm even putting respect on his name. He looked really good, over 6 yards a carry. He was one of the best running backs in the NFL. To some metrics, he was the number 1 running back in the NFL at the end of the season. How much of that was Seattle's run game? How much of that was Penny? Look at Melvin Gordon doing really well. More yards per carry than normal, which he's a pedestrian 3.9 to 4.1 yard per carry running back, Melvin Gordon. But he looks absolutely phenomenal over in Denver because Denver runs the ball very well. Javonte Williams looks better. This is going to be the same situation. This kid did good. He did real good. Listen to the words coming out of my mouth. He deserves to start week 1. Give him the shot. Give him the shot. He won't stay healthy. Even if he did for half of a season. That's fine. I'm expecting to maybe be without this man starting games until week 8. That's my expectation. But yet, a news report like this, stating the obvious, stating what we already know, is triggering massive amounts of DMs and text messages to your boy Smitty, where people are like, okay, is it time to jump ship, Smitty? I don't really know what to do. We're back to this. This is Javonte Williams all over again, Smitty. I don't think I can do it again. This is the new formula, Smitty. You draft a stud, you don't use him. That's what's going to happen here, Smitty. I can feel it. It's the same thing over and over and over again. Chill out, but guess what time it is? It is time for the Panic Chamber. We're back, baby. Episode 1, the first time we're running this back from the 2021 season, carrying over to 2022. It's Panic Chamber Episode 1 live stream, baby. If you're new, you don't even know what you're in for.
You are entering the Panic Chamber. You are entering the Panic Chamber.
It is time for the Panic Chamber, ladies and gentlemen. We will be discussing. First name up is obviously Kenneth Walker. The first video I watched from you was the Panic Chamber says, meet the woo. You're in for a treat. This is going to be a regular series on the channel. This will probably be on Wednesdays or Thursdays. Every week we'll be doing the Panic Chamber. And the concept here is very simple. We put you in the Panic Chamber and we lock you inside. Do we think you belong in the Panic Chamber? If not, we close it without you inside. It's very, very simple. And we talk about why. Another concept here. You can be in the Panic Chamber and I could still like you. I could still see the value. I could still see why this player's still worth drafting. It just all depends. So first up is Kenny Walker. Kenny Walker, everybody and their mother is putting this man inside the Panic Chamber. And I get why. I get why. Because your expectations are very off balance and they're not correct. They're not on point. Your expectation is, Smitty said this guy's a top 5 to 10 running back, therefore I've got to draft him. I got to have him. Smitty said round 7, 8, 9. Okay? Late 6 was probably yesterday. Now you've got the luxury of this Seattle Times report, this beat writer saying, I love myself some Rashaad Penny. And he's kind of brushing off Kenny Walker. He's you draft running backs, Carson's not going to be around. They need a guy. He's nothing to Penny. You have this guy with this angle that is like Rashaad Penny's the guy, and it's not going to change. That's the type of vibe you get when you read this guy's article. I'm telling you right now, Kenneth Walker, it's not a matter of if, it's when. But if you consider this guy a top 4 or 5 overall round pick, you're going to be disappointed. You're going to jump ship. And I even think maybe, the buy low, sell high show we're going to do probably on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. Wouldn't be shocked at all if Kenneth Walker leading into week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 even, maybe even week 5. Kenneth Walker might be on the buy low list for literally 4 or 5 straight weeks. Does anybody understand what that means? Kenneth Walker could be on the buy low list for weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means you're probably not going to be able to use him like you think if you're drafting him ultra high. I got 2 super chats, one from Kevin, one from Ron Navy. Ron Navy, appreciate yours. Running from Smitty, he's scaring me. Okay. Sorry, Ron. Kevin says, wait on Kenny Walker and trade for him. The other owners disappoint and emotion. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm trying to emphasize here. Kevin, thank you for hammering home my point. This is going to be a guy that everybody else is panicking on. This isn't a guy you should be panicking on because I'm preparing you with the proper information. And the fact that you guys, some of you guys, I shouldn't say everybody, but some of you guys have this notion that despite me telling you not to draft him in the top 5 rounds or even now the top 6 rounds, you still do it because you don't want to miss out. Fear of missing out. You have a fear of missing out. Be patient. If someone steals Kenny Walker away from you because you do wait until round 7 and they get crazy and they get aggressive and they grab him too early, so be it. It won't happen in every draft. Stop trying to control every single draft and not using ADP to your advantage. Kenny Walker is in the panic chamber for everybody. He's not in the panic chamber for me, but because he's in the panic chamber for everybody else, you have to use this to your advantage. I'm going to take him out because my expectation's proper. I know everybody else is expecting the world. I know what to expect. I'm going to say Kenneth Walker's not in the panic chamber for me, but I think he is for everybody else, so keep an eye on him. He's not in there. He's not in there. I'm not putting him in there. I know what time it is. I know what time it is. Michael Thomas, however, is in the panic chamber for me because we don't know what is in store for Michael Thomas in 2022. Have you seen him cutting hardcore? Have you seen him in contact drills? Have you seen him doing anything remotely close to what he's going to be doing on the field on game day? No. You see a couple clips of this guy running rounded corners like my grandmother, and everybody's like, he's back, he's back. He's barely testing this foot. Mike Thomas is so far from safe, especially if you're drafting him in the 6th, the 7th, in these crazy territories where people are expecting him to be like a wide receiver 2 or a high-end wide receiver 3. Mike Thomas is the furthest thing from a safe bet. Mike Thomas is the furthest thing from a player that I'm drafting anywhere near single-digit rounds. Oh my God, Smitty, you're telling me the great Mike Thomas you wouldn't take in round 8 or 9? It depends on the flow of draft. Could I see a world where I take him at 9.5? I don't know. It depends on the flow of the draft, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you're expecting anything out of this man, you're going to likely be disappointed. Is there a chance that he surprises me? Absolutely. We play this game of fantasy football because nobody has the answers. Everybody's predicting this, predicting that. It's an odds game. If there's anything I've taught you over the last couple years, months, weeks, however long you've watched me, minutes maybe if you're new, it's that everything is an odds game. And sometimes it's worth taking a little bit more risk because the upside far outweighs it in your mind. In the case of Kenneth Walker, is there risk that Kenneth Walker never becomes the starter all year long? Could he be Javonte like Javonte was in 2021? It's certainly possible. But if you look at the risk versus the upside, if you draft him appropriately, the upside far outweighs the risk because Kenny Walker can be a top 5 to 10 running back in 2022. If you draft him appropriately, you can win your league. If you don't draft him appropriately, you can actually lose your league. Those of you drafting this man in round 3, round 4, round 5, you're setting yourself up to lose your league. That's drafting one of my favorite players, mid-season on. You're literally going to lose your league drafting a player I love. And it pains me to say that because it's confusing for some people. But you have to be patient and play the odds game. The odds game also against injury. Now, I got my boy Ron Navy in here. He says I don't like old players. He says I don't like injured players. Maybe there's something to that in terms of my evaluation process because pattern recognition is huge. History can tell you what potentially can happen. The best predictive analysis you could have is what has happened before and what are the odds of those things happening again or changing. And in my estimation, and the reason we play this game is we all have our own interpretation and guesswork that goes into predicting things or we wouldn't play. My prediction, my 20 years of fantasy football professional analysis, not this, hey, I got an IG account and I do this, I dabble in fantasy halftime. 20 years of dropping this stuff. My pattern recognition is absolutely, I think, on point. And this guy, Mike Thomas, everything about him reeks disappointment. I mean, if you can't pick a player that is more set up to disappoint you than Mike Thomas. You just can't. Everything about him screams, okay, disappointment. I come back, I don't have my surgery. I don't tell anybody. Okay? The team doesn't even know he didn't have surgery. This dude comes back and decides to have surgery in the final 11th hour, takes his whole fantasy season out. This guy is not ready. No news is bad news. We haven't had news all offseason long, except for a little itty-bitty clip of this man rounding a corner like my grandma. And my grandma's not even alive anymore, okay? She could round a corner better than Mike Thomas right now, and everybody's taking this stuff like, oh my God, he's back on the field. He's Mike Thomas. This guy's Mike Thomas. He's got to be okay, Smitty. It's been 2 years. It's been 2 years. At what point are you going to hold on to hope that this guy's not only going to be able to like return to a good form, but you're expecting him to go back to the form of old when he's broken down, when he's rusty, when he doesn't even have his A game? He doesn't even know what to do anymore. Like, this guy's been out of football for a long time. Slant Boy is not coming back. Maybe, just maybe, he comes back and plays like a high-end wide receiver 3 and shocks your boy Smitty. But that would be a best-case scenario. And for him to play a full season coming off 2 years of not being able to get right, the odds are extremely not ever in his favor. And for that reason, my young man, Mike Thomas, you were in the panic chamber. Next up would be Trey Lance, who is in all kinds of rumors, controversy, doubt pieces written, hit pieces written, people talking about this man, Trey Lance, as if he's got so much of an uphill climb. He's walking into the best situation you could possibly ask for an up-and-coming quarterback. Probably the best set of weapons you could find in the NFL for a quarterback coming in the past 10, 15 years. I literally challenge you. You could throw out Mahomes, you could throw out Andrew Luck, you could throw out a couple quarterbacks, Peyton Manning. Nobody's come in with George Kittle, arguably could be the number one tight end in the NFL. He is the number one tight end according to ESPN, and if you factor in his blocking and just football player skills, like, this guy as a football player is the best tight end in the National Football League. Maybe fantasy-wise, he can get taken out by game planning and extra blocking. Number one tight end in football. This guy's got a top 5 to 7 easy running game led by Eli Mitchell, backed up very securely with Ty Davis-Price and Trey Sermon. And Trey Sermon, you can make fun of him all you want, but he came in looking good, and he's quick, he's agile, he's been working his butt off. He'll probably earn that number 2 job, and then Ty Davis-Price might take it from him. This is a trio of running backs that's going to be able to be fed and produce behind this offense led by Trey Lance. Yes, there's some offensive line issues on the face, but Trey Lance being under center is going to spread out the defense so much that you won't notice that there's an issue whatsoever. Trey Lance has Debo, he has Ayuk, he has Danny Gray, he has Jennings, he has an arsenal of weaponry, and this guy can run for 650 yards and 6 to 7 touchdowns in a year where they don't want him to run a lot. That's if they hold this guy back the best they can. But you know what? They can't hold back a guy that can improvise like nobody, looking back at college stats and college film. Now, he played for a small school, Smitty. He played for a small school. What about Randy Moss? That's different. Randy Moss is Randy Moss. Well, what if Trey Lance is Trey Lance? Nobody thinks about that. Everybody just says, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't say that, you can't call him the next Patrick Mahomes, you just can't do it. Yes, you can. You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. This is that kind of country. This is that kind of show. And this is my show. And on my show, Trey Lance is going to the moon. Ladies and gentlemen, punch it.
To the moon.
And I understand it's not comfortable for everybody. Sorry, Trey. I closed it. I'm sorry, Trey. I closed it. Trey, no! Trey Lance is not in the panic chamber. He may be in the panic chamber for other people. We're taking this bad boy out and we're closing it empty, baby. Next up is whoever you want. Give me the next name and we're going to throw them either in the panic chamber or pull them out. So it's up to you. Hit me with a question. I took Sermon in the 7th round last year. Look, overcome. A lot of people liked Sermon. I like Sermon, but I also told you to cuff him to Mitchell at all costs. Mitchell and Sermon won leagues for people. I have people come in all the time say, "Oh, you really missed on Sermon." Did I? Did I miss on Sermon? Or are you not paying attention and not listening to the full clip or exactly what I said when I said Trey Sermon cuffed to Mitchell will win leagues in 2021? And what happened? Mitchell won leagues. Who cares about the Mitchell part, Smitty? You said Trey Lance. Cam Akers, good one. Cam Akers. Woo, doggy. Cam Akers is a controversial one. Cam Akers is one that you know what I'm probably going to say. And Cam Akers is probably not looking like he's getting out of here alive. Cam Akers in the panic chamber. Let's go. Cam Akers at 3rd round value is a huge, huge red flag. Not to mention, this guy has never returned to form yet. He came back from his Achilles tear and played 6 months recovered. And he is finally breaching I don't think he's even crossed the year recovery from when he tore it. And you know what people are going to say about Cam Akers? He's entering his 2nd year recovered from his Achilles tear. He is not. He's entering year 1 from his Achilles tear. Just because this man recklessly and stupidly, and the Rams stupidly allowed it, just because Cam Akers stupidly, recklessly, in dumb fashion, ridiculous, reckless, moronic fashion, walked onto the field to play football 6 months after an Achilles tear where he received like a alternate new guinea pig type Achilles surgery where no one really even knows if this is going to even work with his particular repair. This guy is at the forefront of trying a new way to repair your Achilles tendon. I don't think people realize how bad Achilles tears are. No one in the history of the NFL at the running back position has ever recovered from an Achilles tear to become a top 10 running back or ever return to a top 10 running back. Your Achilles tendon, when you tear that bad boy, it is like a cord that goes and you can feel it in the back of your leg. Even if you move your foot just like this, move your foot from right to left and feel your Achilles tendon. Everybody reach, unless you're driving right now or doing something dangerous, you're driving a tractor or you're working some kind of ATV, nobody stop doing what you're doing if it's going to cause you to get in trouble or injured. But if you reach down, if you're sitting in a chair, reach down and grab very gently your Achilles tendon and kind of hold it for a second. Move your foot just from left to right. Just from left to right. Feel that. It feels like a cord. It feels like a thick cord. And the fact that when you sever it, it is the death of a running back. It is the death of a running back. It's absolutely. HB says Foreman. What about Foreman? What about Foreman? What does Foreman have? Foreman is probably the best recovery we've seen. But what does that have to do with returning to top 10 running back form, HB? I do wonder. I appreciate you. I'm just saying Foreman didn't recover like to the point where he returned to a top 10. He became over several years back to a backup running back role where he looked effective. He's been the most effective looking Achilles tear we've ever seen, but that's not top 10. That's not top 10 at all. There has never been a running back that has returned to top 10 running back form or become a top 10 running back after tearing their Achilles tendon. Ever. So Akers, the odds are against him in his first year back, not second year back, his first year back. What kind of damage did he do when he ran on his Achilles tendon that wasn't healthy? And if anybody thinks his Achilles tendon was healthy, you got another thing coming to you. This guy ran out there probably at 70%. There's no way you're not healthy even 1 year after. You don't have the explosion, and it was proof and evident on the field when Cam Akers was the worst running back efficiency-wise in the NFL during his time back in the backfield. It was like less than 2 yards or right around 2 yards per carry. He was wrapped up. He was corralled. He was chased from behind. He had zero explosion. He proved nothing in his return. His return was selfish to get on the field. I understand it. He wanted to get on the field to be a part of a Super Bowl win. I get it. But for the Rams to do it, it was absolutely reckless. It was absolutely stupid. And what kind of damage did it do? It's like driving your car on no brake pads, just using the rotors up for 6 months and then going and getting brand new brake pads and expecting your car to run the same. This man going out there too early on his Achilles tendon that was not even close to 100% is reckless, and it's going to lead to injury. I said my two most injury prone, my three avoids for 2021 were in order. It was Cam Akers, number one, the most injury prone player I projected for 2021. And he had a handful of injuries his rookie year. So don't act like it was luck that we predicted this guy to go down. I don't wish injury upon anybody, but Cam Akers is, in my opinion, the most injury. He's Mike Thomas at the running back position. Cam Akers and Mike Thomas are the same. Okay, the risk is the same of them going. Another injury coming off an Achilles, all the compensation you do, another leg injury, especially lower leg injury, coming off an Achilles tear is highly likely. Look how long it took D'Onta Foreman to get back. What was it, a decade we've been waiting for D'Onta Foreman to get back? Marlon Mack's the only other running back we could really talk about. Running back, not cornerback, not safety, not Kevin Durant, not a player that didn't even suffer an Achilles tear. That's the best one. Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson, Smitty. Isn't an ACL? No, an Achilles. I have two different models. This one's for an ACL. It's in the back of the knee. Your Achilles is in your right here, above your heel, below your calf. They're not even in the same place. They're not even close to each other. They're not even close to each other. Nobody has returned from a torn Achilles, and this guy's getting the experimental work. Like, you're banking on, there's no proven return from this guy. Did something that should get him back on the field earlier. It did, but he looked completely inefficient. Something fell. So Cam Akers, you are in the panic chamber, young man. Who are we going with now? Next up is going to be who did you guys want next up on the panic chamber? Spit out a name. Javonte in the panic chamber. We can talk Javonte. Javonte Williams. It's funny. It's funny how many people are freaking out on Javonte. Javonte Williams, Kenny Walker, Breece Hall, a lot of our guys. You know, for people that say, Smitty, you don't like injury and risk, I mean, half of my breakouts this year are absolutely, they got risk written up and down, left and right, like all over this thing. Javonte, look, he's in the panic chamber for many, many people. But here's the thing. I have a video coming out on this, so I don't want to go too much onto this because you're going to see a video potentially tonight that's going to talk all about this, how to trade for him, what's really going on. But the bottom line here is this. This guy would sit in the panic chamber for even me if he was going 2 or 3 overall. Not that I don't think he'd overcome it. I'm just saying that the potential of, let's say he splits time or gets only 60% of the work, which I believe will be the case. Even if Melvin Gordon started off 60-40, like, that's going to freak everyone out. It's a matter of time before and I don't think that'll happen. I'm just saying, in a worst case scenario where Javonte gets kind of banged up or something and Melvin fills in the preseason and Javonte's kind of like holding off, and then he'll be ready for week 1, we think, and then Javonte comes out like kind of limited or something, like anything, worst case scenario. This guy's the number 1 running back in the entire NFL in I believe he's either second or first in forced missed tackles and number 1 in the NFL in broken tackles. He might even be number 1, I think, in force missed. Let me see if I can pull up this data right here. I believe this is from PFF. So, Javonte Williams, 2021 season, 37% forced missed tackle rate, was first overall in the entire National Football League. Do you guys understand how amazing this number is when you play halftime? And if you say, oh, okay, percentage rate, yeah, Smitty, whatever, then tell me what this is about right here. Tell me what this is about. Broken tackles. The number, not the percentage or the rate. You know, oh, he had half work, but that percentage can still be applied. Number 1 in the NFL in broken tackles, and he played halftime. Harris had 30, JT had 25, Nick Chubb had 23. Number 1 in the entire NFL playing halftime. Do you believe that a coaching staff that is new, that's not going to repeat everything the other coaching staff did? Oh, let's see. Is there some kind of note or letter that explains how do we use Javonte Williams? Oh, here it is. Dear Hackett, when you use Javonte, please use him halftime. Thank you. Okay, that's how we use Javonte Williams. He came with instructions. We're just going to carry it on over from the previous year. And the formula is, going forward, the new formula is, when you have a Jonathan Taylor on your roster, you don't use him to the full capacity. If there's an adequate backup, then you play adequate backup and never use the top 2 or top 3 overall running back talent. This is exactly what Nyheim Hines owners were freaking out about. Nyheim Hines. And if you say Melvin Gordon, the threat of Melvin Gordon 2022 does not equal the same fear exactly in terms of like intensity and everything as Nyheim Hines walking into last year, you were lying to yourself. You were lying to yourself, and your memory's very foggy because Nyheim Hines 100% scared the heck out of all JT owners to the degree that this top 5 to 10 talent, we knew JT was top 5 to 10. Later, Blackbeard, appreciate you, buddy. We knew. Hines only played 4% less snaps, but 20 less targets. Wesley, we knew JT was the top 5 to 10 talent, didn't we? We knew it. But everybody and their mother said, oh, I hear that Hines is going to be used. Hines is going to be used in a PPR perspective. What if JT never gets the reception? Smitty, I'm starting to panic. Smitty, what should I do? Everybody got totally freaked out. And guess what? Javonte fell to the 9 to 14 overall range. Not just 9, not just 10. He fell to the 9 to 14 overall range. Depending on how many worried Williams you had in your fantasy league. He either went at 14 if you got a bunch of worried Williams, or if you had only 1 or 2 worried Williams, maybe someone with some cojones drafted him at number 9 and said, Nyheim Hines? I don't care about Nyheim. That's going to be, hey, I got the time machine right here. I'm going to give you a name, Melvin Gordon. Okay? You're going to look at Melvin Gordon just like you're about to look at Nyheim Hines, young man. You worried William, you worried William. Get ready, William, because you're going to get so much more worried when you see Javonte dropping loads all over the field, averaging probably a league high or top 5 yards per carry, breaking more tackles than anybody, finishing first or second in forced missed tackles, finishing first or second in 20-plus yard runs, finishing first and second in 40-plus yard runs. Worried William. Get out of here, worried William. Take a lap, worried William. Look at these numbers. What more do you need? Do you believe that a new coaching staff, that Russell Wilson is going to sit there and say, yeah, let's keep a top 3 running back talent on the bench because Melvin looks pretty good? If you believe that, then that's fine. You know, put him in your panic chamber. Close it up. Lock it up. Not me. Not this man right here. And the total, like the sum total argument that I'm going to throw at you right here. The reason, and I'm probably going to put this little clip in the segment maybe that I'm wrapping up on Javonte. But part of what the argument here is that I think paints the picture perfectly. Like, why believe in Javonte, even if there's a little bit of risk or whatever you want to, however you want to paint it. This panic that everybody has where they want to put him in here, they want to close it airtight, lock him in there, has caused him to appropriately drop to a place where it's all Whoa. So I have some Javonte, I'm sorry. I have some technical issues with some of my soundboard stuff, and the lighting is all out on my deck. So my soundboard deck has all the lighting is completely white, and I can barely see the faint, like, burned in icons of all the things I'm pressing. I can barely make anything out, and I've got a replacement coming. I hope it comes by tomorrow, and I can't see anything. So I'm throwing darts here. I'm pressing. Here's what I was trying to press. All of Javonte Williams. Yeah, only 54 likes, but we have over 100 people in the room. Guys, can you punch that thumb up button for your boy Smitty? Can you do that for me? It takes nothing. If you're in the live chat, you can close the live chat without closing the video. Hit the thumb up button, hit the live chat again, come right back. If you're on desktop, even easier. Just smash it. Terry, give me an update. Did I urge more people to hit the like button with that call to action? 105 people in here. Terry, refresh and tell me how many likes we have. Javonte Williams is all baked in. There's no reason to be concerned. If this man was going number 2 or number 3 or number 4 overall, I could understand where people are like, Smitty, but what if? But when he's going at literally 14, in some cases 18, I think people have climbed back up into the 12 to 15, but I don't know. It depends. Somebody tell me in here, where's the recent drafts? Where have you gotten Javonte Williams, or where has Javonte Williams gone? Please let me know where you've seen him go. Silver, appreciate you being here. Legion, Terry Roberts, D-Town, appreciate D-Town being here. Becoming a great follower, commenting on the YouTube channels. I appreciate you, D-Town. Keep dropping the comments after the shows are over. I love answering your guys' comments and questions in the comment section of every video. Legion, I need to see more of that from you. Commenting, I love you in the live streams, though. Brian, what's up? Overcome, Chuck, Terry, Who, Brian, Ricky, Hod Prime, HB, my guy, Sendu, all of you guys. Who was first in the building today? I believe it was James and Tariq. Tariq was in here. Meet the Woo, Wesley, all you guys. I wish I could name all of you, but we'd spend 10 minutes reading all the names because you guys are absolutely phenomenal. I've seen him fall to the end of the second round. I think the latest I got him was 32. This is like asinine and head-scratching to me. You know, I want to say you could get him at 18 on the regular, but I can't say that. I don't know who you're drafting with. If you're drafting with Grandma, you're probably going to get him at 32 like Eric did. Congratulations, Eric. Way to work over Grams and Uncle Bill and Uncle Bud. Go win that cash money. Just at least buy him, buy him something, bro. Buy him something like a visor, or some I don't know, like a TMC subscription or Hallmark movie subscription pass. Get them something, Eric, after you blast them and take their life savings. Lee's playing with a little bit more, like couple office guys, couple veterans, half mix, somebody that's never played fantasy, somebody that's a veteran. That's like a half mixed league right there of good and bad players. Bottom of the second. Playing with a bunch of sharks, they're not letting them fall past 15. So I can't really give you a real strong ADP. I can only say mom and pop leagues, medium-sized competitive leagues, and then the shark leagues. But I think that in general, 14, 15, 16 feels about in the middle of all that. And the bottom line is that even at that range, 14, 15, 16, you are protected into any kind of risk that people are spouting out and telling you that exists. If Javonte shares carries for half of a season and gets unlocked in, let's say, week 8 or week 9, he will still earn you top 10 running back production. He could start in week 10 in week 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. You know, I forget when his bye week is, but let's just say 8 straight weeks, whatever. If there's a bye, then kick it back 1 week. 8 straight weeks, he could literally be a top 5 running back, getting half the work until week 10. I'm not saying I want that. I'm not saying that's how it's going to play out. I'm trying to paint a picture here for you. You could literally go from week 9 or 10 on as the starter, and he could still finish as running back 5 or running back 6, getting half the work from weeks 1 through 10. We don't want that. We don't expect that. We don't feel like that's going to happen. I'm trying to paint a worst case scenario. So when you tell me that Javonte's in the panic chamber and he's going in round 2, and all that caused him to fall from number 5 overall, which is where everyone had Javonte, 5 overall, 4 overall, 6 overall, back in February, when Melvin Gordon wasn't even gone and not likely to go anywhere. Everyone in here, everyone's grandma had him 5 or 6 or 4 overall, with Melvin Gordon likely on the roster. Maybe he'll test free agency in March. We don't know. We've got no quarterback. Drew Luck's the quarterback. Top 5. Okay? Then Melvin Gordon leaves to go test the free agency waters. Everybody rejoices. He's still the same rank, 5, 6. Nothing changed, right? Nobody ranked him up too much higher. He was 5, 6, 7. Then they get Russell Wilson. Now this team is living in the red zone. Now this team could win a Super Bowl. This team could win the division or not even make the playoffs in that division. It's crazy. Win the division and win a Super Bowl. Russell Wilson could be MVP candidate. This team's a whole different thing now. Whole different operation. Living in the red zone. Living on the other side of the 50. Touchdown opportunity galore. And now he's locked in at top 2 to 5. Locked in. Now Melvin Gordon, itty bitty Melvin Gordon comes back. Little itty bitty Melvin Gordon poo comes back into the equation. Now he's garbage. I go live immediately when the Melvin Gordon news breaks and people say 3rd rounder. Do you know how much blasting I got walking into my own live stream when I'm trying to defend Javonte? I come in, Melvin Gordon re-signed. Oh my God, Smitty, this is a disaster. People say they want to cry. I want to cry. Over and over I saw that. I want to cry. Look, this is the greatest thing that could have happened to Javonte Williams, is Melvin Gordon re-signing. I'm telling you, it's better than them signing a rookie or drafting a rookie and bringing in a big name rookie who fell too far. This is the best thing that ever happened to Javonte Williams' 2022 value, because it's not appropriate to move him down to 18 to 15 because of Melvin Gordon, but that gives you a gift that you can either take advantage of or not. Javonte Williams panic chamber, get out of here with that. Get out of here. Oh God, I can't read anything on this thing. Get out of here. Oh. All right, one more player and then we're hitting the phone lines. Somebody give me yet another name to toss into said panic chamber. Why were you avoiding JT but not Javonte? I wasn't avoiding JT. I have a couple videos out that say tread cautiously on where you get him based on the ADP drop, but you'll find videos where I say Jonathan Taylor's gonna be top 5 running back. So I'm not sure what you mean there. Swift, that's a good one. Let's put Michael K, CPA, and Swift in the panic chamber just for a moment. Michael K, don't worry, it's going to work out, okay? Don't panic. Unless I hit the wrong button. If I close it on Michael K, CPA. I mean, imagine if I hit the button on Michael! Swift. Let's talk about Swift for a second. Swift is a guy. These Mexican Cokes are amazing. Swift is a guy that had a lot of risk last year. Okay? And it wasn't because he isn't talented. I always said, whenever I have any kind of doubt on Swift's situation from 2021, is it's about Anthony Lynn, who went to the 49ers, and now everybody's like, oh, I love Anthony Lynn. He's a 49er. Like, 49er fans are amazing because they love whoever comes on board there. They absolutely love him. And Anthony Lynn, the problem with Anthony Lynn is he's not good. And Anthony Lynn, this coaching staff as a whole, head coach Anthony Lynn, OC, the whole package was holding Swift back. They literally wanted Jamal Williams to be the starter and Swift to be the change of pace back. Anthony Lynn had his play calling duties ripped from him by mid-season. They put him in a corner and wouldn't let him do anything anymore because he's awful at being an OC. He's awful. Maybe Shanahan in San Francisco can get the most out of a couple of his skill sets, and I do give Shanahan credit for knowing how to do that. So I'm not saying Anthony Lynn is 100% going to destroy anything in San Francisco. I love Trey Lance. But I do think that Anthony Lynn really put this whole situation into a blender, and you didn't know what you were going to get. You didn't know how much volume Swift was going to get. Swift was going at like 12 overall in the beginning of the offseason. So I beat a dead horse into do not take Swift in the top 12. Swift didn't earn top 12 overall value. Swift did earn top 10 to 12 running back value depending on your scoring, but he was going at 12, and it was too risky last year. It's not a knock on Swift and his talent. It's a knock on having a coach and an offensive coordinator that literally say that Jamal Williams is better than DeAndre Swift. That is awful. That is an awful setup. He's got a little bit of injury risk on top of that, so it was a lot of red flags at 12 or 13, not at 24 overall, where he ended up falling. That was okay. But DeAndre Swift entering 2022 is a whole different situation. It's not me coming around on Swift. It's me absolutely loving Swift this year, given all the situations for this season. Okay? Let's see here. Swift, I would say, is in a safe range of 7 or 8 overall. If you're drafting Swift at 7 or 8 overall, I think that's safe. I think the risk is baked in. The only red flags are injury concern potentially for Swift walking into 2022. That's one red flag. One red flag doesn't make me run for the hills, and the injury concerns, they're not tangible. They're that he has a potential to get injured, right? He has a little bit of that risk of soft tissue. It's just the way he kind of is built. He's I don't know, how should we word him? What running back comes to mind when it comes to the injury risk with Swift? You know, he's a speedy, shifty guy. He's gonna take a lot of volume, and it worries me for a game or two that he can miss. But Swift is getting benched. No, Joseph. Swift is a monster, bro. He's electric. He's elite. He's quick. He's fast. The only concern is the injury, but volume's no longer a concern. The team moving the football down the field is no longer a concern. You've got St. Brown, Jameson Williams eventually. You've got a good tight end, a good offense essentially, just with Goff, who's a little limited. It's kind of like Jimmy G in the Niners offense. The Niners offense was still very good, but it was held back by Jimmy G. So same thing with Goff. Goff is efficient enough to get it to move downfield. He can get first downs, move the chains. St. Brown's going to be very, very good this year. I love St. Brown. He's a high-end wide receiver 2 trapped in a low-end wide receiver 2 draft value, so take advantage of that. Absolutely love DeAndre Swift this year. There's nothing to panic about, Michael, and you don't even have to worry. The panic chamber's closing, and you're not in it. Okay, now it's time to get to the voicemails.
It's voicemail time. Drop a voicemail at the Fantasy Football Show on the gram. Tell your grandma.
He'll punch you in the throat.
Swift, Walker panic time, no maniac. We're not panicking, and you can rewatch as to why, good sir. You panic all you want. Close your panic chamber on him. That's only going to help. Voicemail 2 group is trying to make a comeback here. Voicemail group 2 has a couple messages. This one's from Kevin.
All right. Superflex. 2-3 turn. Top running backs available.
Let's start this over.
All right. Superflex. 2-3 turn. Top running backs available are DeAndre Swift, Javonte Williams, and let me see who else is out there. Saquon Barkley. Top wide receivers available are CeeDee Lamb and Keenan Allen. Top quarterbacks available are Trey Lance, and Matthew Stafford. I got to pick 2. Who you picking?
And who do you have, though? You know, Kevin, we need to know that.
Justin Herbert was picked at the 1.01. Go.
Who do you have, Kevin? Let me know who you have. And I can't read the text in there. We're doing a show here, so if you posted it there, don't post it again. So I need to know who you got in order to answer that question. James Conklin.
Okay, Smitty, today I got a good one for you. Looking at wide receiver number 2s on their respective team. Okay, I got a list of 8. Waddle, Mike Williams, Adam Thielen, Allen Robinson, Jared Jeudy, Brandon Ayuk, Chase Claypool, and then Russell Gage. Who do you see the best ADP value with the highest upside in targets per game? If you think of anybody that I didn't mention, feel free to talk.
All right, I got to listen to this list again. And Kevin, leave it in the voicemail, not in the chat.
Okay, Smitty, today I got a good one for you. Looking at wide receiver number 2s on their respective team. Okay, I got a list of 8. Waddle, Mike Williams, Adam Thielen, Allen Robinson, Jared Jeudy, Brandon Ayuk, Chase Claypool, and then Russell Gage.
Yeah, I mean, Waddle's my favorite. Mike Williams is probably next. I think Ayuk could be next. I don't think I'm missing anybody. I like Allen Robinson. I love that you say Judy's the number 2. How disrespectful of Jerry Jeudy of you. Just Judy's the number. How the number 2 wide receiver is Jerry Jeudy? He could be the number 1, pal. Give him a little bit of respect, but he still doesn't rank. You know, that's kind of the point is even as his number one on his team, because Sutton's there trying to take it from him. I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, so Waddle's my favorite. Mike Williams is my second favorite. And Ayuk is the next favorite. Based on ADP, though, because you got to pay the price for those guys, I'm going to say that Ayuk and Gage probably have the best value ADP-wise to outperform their draft slot. Mike Williams, you're going to have to pay 5.1 value. Waddle, you're going to have to pay 4th round value. Those aren't absolute steals. I still like them. But I think Ayuk's developing a good rapport with Trey Lance. And I've gone on saying that it wouldn't shock me if Danny Gray started grabbing some wide receiver 2 numbers from in San Fran. But I think I'm going to back up off of that for this year. I think Danny Gray is going to be really good in the future. And I like Danny Gray. I think he'll still do very well by the end of the year. But Ayuk is putting in the work, and him and Trey are building this rapport right now. They're like 2 peas in a pod. I think I'm going to start pumping up Ayuk again. Because, look, you adjust and adapt. You start seeing players putting in the work. You start seeing the work ethic and the rapport. I think Ayuk is going to be a steal in fantasy. I'm starting to really take a turn on Ayuk and say, not that I didn't like him. I loved him. I mean, he's from Arizona State. I told Niner fans about him when I go on Niner shows. I say, this guy Ayuk, you should draft him. I predicted Ayuk and Trey to be drafted by the Niners. So, like, I like Ayuk. I like the fit. I just think Ayuk is going to be at the ADP. Okay, if we're talking about ranking, it's Waddle. Waddle's the number 1. Let's go with, let's see here. Kevin, did you leave it? I don't think Kevin left a response. Okay, we're going to move on. Kevin, I'm sorry. I tried. I'll come back and see if you've left a message on it.
Hey, Smitty, it's Drake. I must say, pal, that, you had me cracking up for like 15 minutes. With your comment back to the guy calling in for delivering pizza. But way to tell him to take a lot by hanging up the phone. Thanks, pal.
Yeah, and I told the guy that called in and said he wanted to order pizzas. I told him, he said, where do I drop them off? And I said, you see these nuts? So anyway. Stormcat.
Smitty, how you doing? Stormcat here. Let's talk Russell Gage for a minute. I'm really liking this guy more and more and more as each day passes on. Right now on Underdog, he's ADP 69, wide receiver number 34, and I think he's got a lot more value than that. Gronk is gone. Antonio Brown is gone. Chris Godwin, ACL tear week 15 of last year. No way he's ready to start the season, and he may not even be full go until very late in the season.
Stop drafting Godwin, guys. I'm tired of seeing it. Like, you want to take him really late, sure, but you're not going to get him late because somebody that doesn't know what's going on is going to draft him in round 5 or 6. Let it happen. Just lay back and let it happen. It'll be a lot easier. Let somebody take Godwin. Stop drafting Godwin. He's not worth it. He's not worth it. Avatar dropping a wad. If I can even find the button for it because I can't see anything.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
Appreciate you, Avatar. You guys know who the... Oh, where is this? I didn't have it up the whole show. You guys know who the top super chatter is of the entire year in a single live stream? This man right here. And I've got him up here. Sometimes I forget to activate him. Remind me if I don't. Avatar, $499 load drop. This guy has his own emoji. Can we get a couple Avatar emojis in this mug? People start dropping Avatar. Avatar's got his own emoji in the YouTube exclusive group, and you can become a YouTube exclusive member too. I'll pin that link in the chat. Also, now, if you are a YouTube exclusive member, you can even gift YouTube exclusive memberships to other people, which is phenomenal. Which is absolutely phenomenal. Like, that's the coolest thing. We had Kayla do that last night, and that option looks like it's new. It's called gifting memberships. You can gift, and it randomly sends them to people. So if someone does it, it sends them randomly to like 5 people, 3, whatever. I don't know what the options are because I can't see it myself. But appreciate you, Avatar. Thank you for being the high super chatter of the year. Thank you, Mark Cleveland, for being the high super chatter of the year before. Thank you, Seth Jocelyn, for being the one before that. Thank you, Jocelyn Surprise, for being the leader before that. I think it was Pretty Richie, and then it was Michael K. CPA, I think, that kicked off. No, it was Niner by Nature that kicked it off. Then Michael K. CPA. Appreciate both Niner by Nature and Michael K. CPA. And I even have, if I can read anything, I can't wait till I get my replacement board. I think it's coming today or tomorrow. As you can see right in front of your face, in Russian Collusion dropping a 10-spot wad right on the screen. Russian, I appreciate that. Russian says, Smitty, can you do a 7 p.m. mock one night next week? Underdog, do you still have Avatar and Cleveland shirts to show? I'm working. Let me finish those off and show those on the Saturday night live. And before I send them out, I want to show them that when they're all dolled up and ready to go. Yes, it's going to be great. I can't wait to show them. I'm going to do them live on the show. We've had a couple crazy things kind of happen, and then my system went down, and it's like it's such a struggle right now to even navigate right now. But here are the current exclusive members. I haven't added the new ones from yesterday or maybe even late the day before. So I'll be adding to this. We're going to have like 2, 3, 4 pages eventually. But current leader, Super Chatter, Mark Cleveland, and then you got Niner by Nature, Michael K. CPA, Pretty Richie, Jocelyn Surprise, Seth Jocelyn were the previous leaders. If I'm forgetting anybody, let me know. But here are all the YouTube exclusive members as of a couple days ago, and I'll throw and update this with the new names and stuff. So if you guys want to join that, the link is in the description. Gage, love Russell Gage. Thank you for the question, Stormcat. I think I'm caught up. Bruce is loose.
Hey, Smitty, how undervalued?
Can I just say something? Is the Bruce in here? This man's got thicker skin than a 400-pound python. Like, this guy's skin is unbelievably thick. I blasted him a little bit yesterday because he came in. I don't know if you guys heard it yesterday. He came in with this, like, the background music blaring, and I roasted him a little bit. He comes back without even a hesitation. Listen to this confidence in this message. Just,
hey, Smitty, how
no big deal.
undervalued is Elijah Moore this year? I don't know which one is more undervalued between him and Amar St. Brown.
Elijah Moore, St. Brown. Okay, so that's a great question, Bruce. I'm going to put that on the screen here so that, whoa. God, all the buttons don't work. St. Brown, Elijah Moore. This is a great question. Why? Because I just had this dilemma. I'm drafting in the Scott Fish Bowl, and I took, I don't know if Kevin's going to leave a message. I'm going to go ahead and put that right there in case he comes back with his question. St. Brown, Elijah Moore. I was in this dilemma, and it took St. Brown. It wasn't that hard of a decision, but I did think, hey, for a moment, Elijah Moore is so good. I like him. I think he's going to have something to say about this. Oh, yeah. Garrett Wilson's the new future wide receiver 1. I don't know about that. I think that maybe Elijah Moore could not just share the role with him. He could be still the guy, the main guy, the number 1 wide receiver of the future for this Jets team. I love Elijah Moore. I love him. I want both of them as my wide receiver 3 rotation, but I just drafted him as my wide receiver 2 in the Scott Fish Bowl because I went heavy running back and quarterback because it's a super flex. Absolutely love St. Brown. I think St. Brown is going to cakewalk. There's a report the other day that said he's going to get no fewer than 6 targets. This report was head scratching to me. And this is where people just listen to other people that don't know what they're talking about. And they just, a report comes out. It says he's going to get no fewer than 6 targets. And everyone's like, oh, he's not going to get a lot of targets. Look at St. Brown's game log. Week 13, 12 targets. Week 14, 12 targets. Week 15, 11 targets. 11 targets, 11 targets, 10 targets. And then above that, before there was a lot of injury. I get it. There's injuries. He's only got to throw 2. You don't have to tell me. I'm not a moron. But when you say 8, 7, when he's still learning and getting his feet under him, this guy's gonna get 7 to 12 targets a game. Absolutely love him. Absolutely love him. Kevin Williams says dropped in the comments. Where though? Where though, Kevin? I think on the voicemail show I'm going to need the voice message though, pal. I don't know. I don't see it in the... And if it's in these comments, how am I going to find it? Let's see here. Oh, here we go. I drafted Herbert 1.1 and listed players I can pick at the second and third turn. Okay, so Herbert was your pick. Okay. I thought you said Herbert was taking 1.1, but I didn't hear you say you took him 1.1. So you have... It's a super flex, not a mandatory 2 QB, I'm assuming. Okay, Kevin? So super flex is different than a mandatory 2 QB. Mandatory 2 QB is exactly that. You're forced to start 2 quarterbacks, and that means it's even harder to field a super flex team. In a super flex, you don't have to take a quarterback early. You shouldn't, 2 quarterbacks early. You should take 2 quarterbacks. You should start 2 quarterbacks. The team that has 2 quarterbacks... Shoddy, appreciate you. How's Pops doing? Hopefully Pops is doing good. Prayers up for Shoddy and Pops. You should take another quarterback in your super flex. You have to. The odds of you winning are a little bit lower if you don't. But it gives you flexibility to play around with letting quarterbacks fall instead of feeling panicked. You know what I mean? So if you've got Herbert at 1.1, return to normal drafting in Superflex leagues after you get a top 4 quarterback. In round 2, pretend it's round 1 in a 1 QB league. Get back into that frame of mind while everybody's going against traffic and drafting quarterbacks. You draft the best player available. Take Swift. If Javonte's there on the next pick, take Javonte. I assume you got back-to-backs here, and it's not like reverse serpentine or whatever. So I would take Swift and Javonte. I would take Swift and Javonte with Herbert and walk out of your league like you would have in a 1 QB league. I mean, getting 2 monsters like that, I know it's a little bit later than that 1 pick, but you literally, it's like you got the 12-13 pick in a regular draft. Take Swift and Javonte. They're the 2 best players. There's something about balance that I like. So if you want to go Swift Lamb, I understand it. But I would go Swift and Javonte personally. Swift and Lamb would be good too, but I would go Swift and Javonte, and then I'd follow it up with hitting some wide receivers if it makes sense, like DK, like Waddle. You're going to field a team that you shouldn't field. You're going to field a filthy team, Kevin, if you take that approach. Just go best player available. If Javonte's not best player available to you, take who you feel is best player available. Don't listen to anybody else. Don't even listen to me if your gut tells you something different. Shoddy, peace out, bro. Joseph.
In my opinion, Adam Thielen can be a great value as a wide receiver too. What do you think?
Joseph, I don't know about wide receiver 2. I'd say great value as a wide receiver 3. And he's going as a wide receiver 3. You don't have to take Thielen as a wide receiver 2. But I agree with you if you just change that verbiage a little bit, like he could be a steal wide receiver 3. Sure. Daddy Dennis got Swift at 2.12 in your mock last night. Where are you mock drafting, Daddy Dennis? That's crazy. That's not going to happen. Can you notice me? Viper, I notice you. Viper, I care about you. Okay? Brofist. I try to notice everybody. Question, Smitty. The Cup League, is it like best ball? No, there'll be waivers. The no bench league may be best ball. We may just do a best ball league. NFL site, I don't know. I don't know what NFL's ADP is looking like. The fact that you got Swift at 2.12 is crazy. Jim?
Hey, Smitty. I joined a couple of new dynasty leagues this upcoming year, and in one of my dynasty leagues, we draft tomorrow. And it's a dynasty superflex league where it's one quarterback you start, and then you have the option of starting a second quarterback in that superflex spot. I have the number 4 pick. Do I automatically take a quarterback at that 4 spot, even if Allen, Mahomes, and Herbert are taken? Or do I look at Jonathan Taylor or somebody else with that number 4 pick?
Always, Superflex League, always take one of the top 4 quarterbacks. Burrow is the number 3. So Mahomes is my 4 anyway. So you get Burrow at 4. Like I said, this is my secret sauce way of winning Superflex in 2022 if you've got a top 4 pick. Kind of works if you've got a top 5 or 6 because you could take Kyler or Lamar or whoever your 5 or 6 is. But if you've got a top 4 pick, it's simple. You draft that quarterback. When everybody panics and goes quarterback all the way down toward your next pick, you have literally 2, 3, 4 non-quarterbacks taken between your Burrow pick at 4 and your next pick. And you're going to start reverting back to normal drafting and scoop up the normal players you would take in a 1 QB league while everyone's panicking and you're going against traffic. Then come back around because of Superflex and not mandatory 2 QB. You're going to look at guys that fall to you. You got a little bit less pressure to mess up on that because you don't have to start 2 QBs. You want to. Your goal should be to, but Davis Mills should be there for you. Davis Mills is my safety net QB2 in a Superflex league. And it affords me to go Swift, Javonte, DK, Waddle, whatever. You know, Hall, Breece Hall. I've gone Swift, Javonte, Breece Hall, and like DK in such a scenario and have my top quarterback. Who cares? I got 1 wide receiver. I got DK. I'm fine. I got Waddle instead or McLaurin. Like get your wide receiver 1 and take Breece Hall on top of that. Absolute smash. Absolute smash.
Hey, Smitty. One of my new questions is, we all, like Tyreek Hill and Waddle are falling, and they say that's because of Tua, and he sucks. Well, this man worked with Jimmy G, Jimmy the Great. Why don't they trade for Jimmy the Great?
I don't know. Like, I love the Bruce, and I love how the Bruce's tenacity. Like, he bounces back. He bounces back like Rudy Rudiger. You know, this guy, I feel like the Bruce is Rudy. I really do. I wouldn't count the Bruce out of anything. He could do anything. I do feel like he's got a little bit of a soft spot for a guy named Jimmy G, and I don't understand that. Jimmy G, like, could Jimmy G get traded? It's possible, but the Niners would have to front some of the bill. And the reason why Jimmy's probably staying in San Francisco is if they cut him, they would have only lost $5 to $7 million, and they would have got that back if another team picked him up with the injury situation. The way that all works with the salaries and stuff. So if a team comes to him kind of like the Baker trade, and the Panthers say, "Hey, Cleveland, you pay $10 million," or Baker takes a $5 million pay cut. You pay $10 million, and we'll pay $5 or $6 million, whatever the Panthers paid. They basically paid like $5 or $6 million, I believe, for Baker, and the Browns had to front $10 million of that contract. The Niners, if they were asked to front $10 million, they could have just cut him and only cost him $5. And is the draft capital that they're getting like I don't even think it'd be a 6th rounder. You know, like I don't know. I don't think it's worth it, you know, like a pick that you may not even use or need. R. Smith, appreciate the super chat. What's us? What is Scott Fishbowl? How did you draft? So Scott Fishbowl is a very, very weird draft. It's for charity. It's an awesome experience and fun to be a part of. It's where you draft with a bunch of different fans and followers and just lovers of fantasy football in the NFL, and you get mixed in with a bunch of they're called, you know, they're like fan spots. So there's a fan spot and an analyst spot, a couple fan spots and an analyst spot. It's like a big mix, and it's crazy. It's super flex. The scoring's always weird. They always tweak it a little bit, so you can never get used to it. Appreciate the super chat. Amazing Asian wants to call and add a counterpoint to the Javonte. You know, I don't want to yell at Amazing Asian, though, because I love Amazing Asian, but he wants to call. What can I do? Thank you for the super chat. And on top of that, super chat and $10.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy. I'll open up the phone lines for you, Amazing. Give me a ring, Amazing. Phone lines are open. Phone number is as follows.
Call into the show. Dial 602 NFL. Down.
I don't know if we got to all the voice messages. I feel bad when I don't, but Joseph, I got the Joseph. Voicemail group 2, we have Corey.
Team is ready to win now. Lost in the championship last year, won it the year before. So need a game changer this year to put me back over the top.
Okay, that was question 2, so here's 1.
All right, Smitty. Regular dynasty question here. Non-super flex, half-point PPR. Do I trade a 2023 first and a 2024 first for Tyreek Hill?
It depends. If you're ready to win now, that means that your team's good, so your picks aren't going to be that good. If you can win cash money this year and make your 2023 garbage, I guess it would depend on the cash money. If it's like a $15 league, I don't know that I'm giving up all my future. If it's a big, hunk of cash that you're getting, then it's kind of, you're putting yourself in a good spot to win. But you are potentially getting rid of value that you could maybe use to rebuild if you could still try and win this year and still rebuild. I don't know. If they're 12 and 10 picks, I'd take Tyreek Hill over him. But you got to be honest with yourself on that, and you can't just make that trade and then that burger looks good. Love your show, Smitty. Standard scoring: Barkley, Swift, Javonte, Chubb, Jefferson. Which 2 do I keep? Jefferson's a lock, because think about it. You're drafting him the highest, and you're drafting him the highest for a reason. You're not just looking at ADP. You would draft him the highest for a reason, right? I think I keep Swift because he's the hardest to draft back, and you can maybe get Javonte back. So Swift and Jefferson would be the clear-cut calls for me. Appreciate your super chat. I appreciate you. But, you could go Javonte and Swift if you wanted, but I think Jefferson... I tell you guys that my favorite start is Javonte and Swift, but Jefferson doesn't fall. Otherwise, I would take Jefferson and Swift and then hope to somehow trade up to get Javonte. You could get all 3 somehow. Like, if you can... did you win last year? Peaker, with that trio? Javonte wasn't really unlocked, so I don't know that he would have been, like, the difference maker, but did you win with Swift and Jeff? Like, what was your finish? You get this back if you get Javonte back and you run it back one more time with Javonte completely unlocked, and you're winning. You're winning that. Okay, let's get to the phone lines.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Call into the show. Dial 602 NFL. Down.
All right, if you can get all 3, you win a league. Exactly. Woo, exactly. Thanks, Smitty. I made that burger. Thanks. It looks good. It looks good. That burger looks phenomenal. If you made that burger, I trust you in this draft. I think you'll do the right thing. All right. Where are you at? Who said, what was it? Who said they wanted to call in? Amazing Asian. Smitty. Smitty, it's Amazing Asian. I would like to call in and give you a counterpoint to your Javonte take. Which I never like this when I don't want to yell at anybody like Amazing Asian because he's my boy. But he's going to call in and challenge me. So this could get rough. This could get crazy. Amazing, whatever happens, don't take offense to it. Cheers. I'm going to try that Sprite challenge where you chug an entire Sprite. I probably would belch, but I think the amount of Cokes I drink and my ability to, take in carbonation more than the average bear, I wonder if I would have that kind of reaction. I'm tempted to go grab a Sprite and do it. But you chug a Sprite, apparently you just like, you see all these TikToks where people are like, "Blah!" Is it Sprite? It's Sprite, right? When you do that? I think it's Sprite. We're waiting for Amazing to call in. Corey, here's Kevin. Kevin, I think we got it.
Hey, Smitty, I'm just dropping a voicemail. So it's an email draft. I picked Herbert with the 1.01.
Yeah.
And the rest of the players that I listed for you are all players that are available in the second and third.
I got you, Kevin. My bad. Yeah, Amazing Asian, you're live on the Fantasy Football Show, pal. I just want to say before this gets, if this does get crazy, maybe it won't. Me yelling at you about this or you yelling at me about this, it's going to go unforgiven. There's no hard feelings, but go ahead and let it roll.
Oh, konnichiwa, man. I would consider it a compliment if you yelled at me. I have thick skin, too. I just figured you're the type of guy that, you don't want a bunch of yes men surrounding you in your community. You want a little bit of pushback. Pushback. As long as it's respectful, right?
Yeah. Respectful. Pushback, go.
Okay. Hey, little business first, though, man. I just want to congratulate you on the overwhelming support you've been receiving lately from all the community here. And it's not just the monetary support, man. The community engagement has just been outstanding. And it's just amazing to be a part of it. It's a very, very small part of it. But you got to be proud of that.
I appreciate it, man.
Guy.
I don't pause too much on it. Like, I guess I'm one of those people that, like, I don't know. I don't like to stop and think too much about it until we get to it. Like, I think once we get to 100K, I might actually take a moment to, like, I'm not saying I don't know. I totally appreciate it. I think I show my appreciation pretty well, but maybe I need to show it more. But like, it's not about appreciation. I appreciate it. But, like, patting myself on the back yet, like, I don't think I'll actually stop to do that until we get to 100K. I think once we get to that spot, that's when I'm going to really feel like, okay, we can take a moment. Like, I feel like Bill Belichick. It's like, okay, next show. That was a great show. Next show. But I think I will take a day to party, if we hit 100K. So, and I know we will. And I know this show's going to catch on. Look, I wasn't Monday through Friday last year. I did a Tuesday and Thursday show. We weren't as hardcore. We did a lot of night lives. We went live every single night, but this is going to be different because I'm doing the daily show. We're just out there. We're showing, the show quality is obviously better every single day too. Like with everything that we do and the props and all the personalities, like it's engaging way more every single month. But I think I have a strong feeling that when we get into this August, when people are searching for content like crazy, because people are kind of searching right now. 4th of July is like when the tipping point kind of happens where people kind of get back into football. But like August 1 on, I have a feeling there'll be so many people searching that find the show, and it's a lot of you guys. It's the personalities in here, the Bruce and everybody in here, Terry and Bubba, everybody in here, you everybody that's got a place in here. I think it's just engaging and fun. So I appreciate that, and let's have at it.
Well, yeah, it's good that you quantify your goals. See, that's the reason why in the chat last night I said something about 4-digit super chat. I'm looking forward to that comma and the number, like 1,000 and something. But Anyway, yeah, and I'm going to share the show with all my league mates. I'm not afraid of them.
I appreciate that. That's good mentality.
Makes it more competitive.
That's a good
mentality.
mentality.
Listen, just to counterpoint in Javonte Williams, but I'm going to preface it by saying that I love Javonte Williams. I really do. I love the kid. I saw his film in North Carolina and what he did last year at Denver. He was limited by the coaching staff, but that's my point. It's like we can want it all we want, and we can believe in it. We can see it. But for some reason, the coaching staff, maybe they want to save him. They're thinking of a playoff run. They got Russell Wilson. They got Super Bowl aspirations. Maybe they want to save him a little bit and keep the tread off the tires and say, well, we're going to let him loose in the playoffs, in the NFL playoffs, which doesn't do us any good for fantasy, of course. But that's what I'm thinking. That's number one, is that the coaching staff believes him. They gave him a $2.5 million contract. I think most of it or all of it was guaranteed. They didn't have to bring him back. And he's only like 7 months removed from splitting that backfield, literally 50-50. I mean, it was it was almost like they were doing it on purpose. So I don't see a big drop-off. I mean, he didn't fall off the face of the earth, and then they clocked him at 22 miles an hour on one of his runs last year, so he still got the juice. I mean, he's 29. I get it. That's the point of a drop-off. But, he's staying fresh because he's splitting with Javonte and vice versa. So that's number one. Number two is that, you got Russell Wilson, okay, who's not been known to throw to his running back, and he's just dropping raindrops and dimes all over the field. And he's got a receiving core like none other. I mean, with Sutton, Judy, Hamler, Patrick, and Albert O. They thought enough of Albert O to let Noah Fant go. They're going to throw the ball. Man, they spend a king's ransom to get Wilson. They're going to throw the ball. I think that Javonte and Melvin are going to share a lot less carries this year. And objectively, I want to believe next year, I don't care if Gordon's still on the team. Next year, he's going to go. I think he's going to be the 101, personally. But now I guess Taylor, if he has the same kind of year, it's going to be a toss-up there. But I'm just a little nervous. I mean, you talked me off the ledge with Herbert earlier in the week, and you made a really convincing argument. So I'm feeling more confident in Herbert. And I heard what you said during the panic chamber. The reason my super chatty and asked you permission to talk about Javonte because I thought maybe you would say, no, I'm sick of talking about him.
No.
And believe me, you can yell at me all you want. Like I said, I would consider it a compliment. So you got the floor, Smitty.
Yeah, I'm going to have a video on this, so I hate beating a dead horse because I want everybody to want to watch the video too. But the video is also going to explain. The video is also going to explain how to trade for him, so I think it'll have a different dynamic to it. So I'm not too worried about it. But I would say this: I understand where you're coming from, and I think the problem is, and this is exactly like my Dalvin Cook advice back when I first started my YouTube channel, and we put Dalvin Cook in the intro of every video: top 5 running back, top 5 running back. The pushback I got is it's the exact same scenario, except for the backup role. And the workload, that's a whole different argument. But in terms of Dalvin Cook, so this screen is the first round and this is the second round. In the middle is the 12 pick. Cook was right here. That's where his value was. Tore his ACL, came back, had a real bad year his first year back, suffered the hamstring injury, which usually comes with a torn ACL. When you have a torn ACL, a lot of times your first year back, you can suffer that torn hamstring or some kind of compensation injury because you're literally with the ACL tear, the recovery's tough. So he had that bad year back. Everyone's like, okay, Dalvin Cook's a top 5 running back, but I'm afraid to draft him because he's an injury risk. And he started to fall, and people kept saying, he's an injury risk. He's an injury risk. Okay, so now you're at 12. This is 12 overall. This is 1 overall. This is 24 overall. So he's down to 12, and people keep saying the same thing. He's an injury risk. He's a risky top 5 running back. He's a risky top 5 running back. We're down at 18 right here. We're down at 18 overall right here. And people are still talking about this right here. They're not adjusting and adapting. He's a risky top 5 running back. Okay, Bob, he's being drafted at 18 overall. When do we re-examine how we're looking at it? So I feel like Javonte, you're right if he was going here. The risk of Melvin Gordon, like I said earlier, before Melvin Gordon was leaving, I believe, and be honest with me, in February when we were doing our early rankings, did you have Javonte right here? When you had no idea?
Yeah, he was definitely a first rounder.
Okay, so if you were kind of thinking Melvin has a real strong shot at staying, you don't really know what's going to happen. He's right here. Why does his potential opportunity to leave and then come back, put him right here. When you already had him here when you thought that Melvin was probably going to stay, and you had Drew Lock at quarterback. You now have Russell Wilson at quarterback, and the same outcome that you thought might be there for Melvin is now there for Melvin and for Javonte, but he's got Russell Wilson in a team that's going to live in the red zone. Why does he deserve this? My point is, this protects you into everything.
Actually, Smitty, I misunderstood you, to be honest with you, bro. I'm not watching. I'm on the phone, so I can't see the broadcast right now. I thought you meant when we thought Melvin Gordon wasn't coming back, where I thought Javonte would go. So I misunderstood.
No, but before in February, when you didn't know what was going to happen with Melvin Gordon, we thought, everybody in the whole world thought, okay, Melvin Gordon's probably not leaving. Like, there was no talk about him hitting the free agency. He could, you know, what team would want him? He was getting drafted in the top 5. Everybody and their mother had Javonte in the top 5 in February, when Melvin was probably going to stay. He was not going to go test free agency that we knew of yet. And Drew Lock was the quarterback. Like, so what I'm saying is, when you have all of a sudden your mind, just your expectation, he's going to go off and test free agency, and then he comes back. But he comes back and Russell Wilson's on the team, and now he's an entire 12 to 15 picks down. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. But I get what you're saying. I understand. I honestly don't think you like Javonte as much as me, because I don't think, and that's okay. I'm not mad about it, but I don't think you would let Melvin Gordon sway you too much. This is a different staff. Doesn't mean they're going to repeat what they did. Even if they brought him back, they want to make sure they have a good, strong running game, and he knows the system. It's kind of like the Shanahan and Jimmy G thing. Everybody thinks Jimmy G's going to leave. I don't think he is. I think Shanahan's comfortable that the backup quarterback has a good grasp of what's going on if they need him. I do believe that Melvin Gordon's going to get close to half of the work, or a little less, like 40% of the work in week 1. And the thing is, it's going to make some people panic that aren't paying attention, that aren't listening to what I'm saying. The fears you've described are 100% baked into 15, 18, 17, especially 24, 25, 26, as some people are getting Javonte down there. It's 100% baked in. 100% baked in. He could get 60% of the work all year long and earn you 24 overall value in his sleep, because this guy is the number 1 efficiency tackle breaking and forced missed tackle monster in the NFL. Number 1 in forced missed tackle percentage, number 1 in actual missed tackles, and he played halftime. He will absolutely live in the red zone. This offense will, and this is all assuming Melvin Gordon stays healthy. Like, Melvin Gordon has to stay healthy. He's getting older every single game. You know, like he took on a lot of work last year too. Like, that's going to add up. I mean, running backs at his age that are overly used, and if he gets used at 50% of what Denver's going to potentially throw at him, that's going to be a lot of volume. So for him to stay healthy, that's a very, very tough task. So there's a lot of factors.
Yeah, but that's one of my counterpoints. So I think with Wilson there, they're going to be willing to throw the ball 100 times more than they did last year. So I think that's going to take away a little bit of the usage on the run game for both Javonte and Melvin. Again, get back to what you said about in February when people were like drafting him, because Gordon was in limbo. But the affirmation that the management, Elway and he's the vice president of football, or the president of football operations, whoever the general manager is there, they gave him that contract. Now all of a sudden people are like, oh man, they believe in him, and they used him at 50-50 last year. They believe him. They were giving him $2.5 million, and that's pretty good money.
$2.5 million is not a lot of money.
Man.
It's not. He's a backup.
Well,
it's backup money. Like, I understand what everybody's saying, but Melvin Gordon, he like I said, he could start off the season 50-50. I would not be shocked, but here's where my argument is, and it lives and dies here. And there's no real way to counterpoint this. If you don't believe the way I believe this, then I get it. It doesn't mean you're wrong. Doesn't mean I'm wrong. We don't know who's right or wrong yet. I admit that. But when you have a player, if you believe in Javonte like I do, and I know you say you love him and he could be the 1.1 later, if you believe in him the way I do, nothing's going to stand in his way. JT couldn't be held back by Nyheim Hines. And Nyheim Hines was absolutely the same level of threat and risk to to JT's role. Absolutely, because he got driven down to like 14, 15 overall, the same place that Javonte's getting driven down to. Javonte's getting driven down a little bit lower in some cases. But Nyheim Hines had people petrified. When you are a talent like Javonte or JT, no running back, even as good as Melvin Gordon was last year and could be in Denver, the way they run the ball effectively, and the way that Nyheim Hines catches the ball when they feed him. And he could have a good year too this year too. Nyheim Hines could still have a role. These guys are still good. No matter how good they are, it doesn't matter. You can't contain it. You'd have to have Russell Wilson, Hackett, new coach. New coaches are just going to repeat what happened last year just because that note was left. Hey, how do we use Javonte Williams instruction guide? Let's just go ahead and deploy that to Javonte. You'd have to have two coaches in a row to not understand what they have and how much potential the offense has by putting a top 2 running back in the NFL, if not number 1. Javonte literally could be the number 1 running back in the entire National Football League from a talent perspective and a production perspective. And if anybody thinks that I'm crazy, then you just see it differently. No one like Melvin Gordon's holding Javonte back from eventually getting unleashed. Only injury can, if Javonte were to get hurt. Javonte will find his way onto a rocket ship and will head to the moon. I realize he's not there yet because of Melvin Gordon. I understand all that. But the fact that, like, I'm telling you this with, I have people that tell me, seriously, Smitty, be honest with your followers. Don't lie to them. I get a comment once every couple weeks in my comments somewhere about this. I would not press this button, Amazing Asian. I wouldn't press it if it traded Melvin Gordon to Baltimore right now. If you said, Smitty, press it, and I've got shares of Javonte already, I wouldn't do it for you guys, for my community. I could care less about my teams. I want everybody to win their leagues at the second round Javonte Williams value. If I could press this button to trade Melvin Gordon away, I would not do it. I wouldn't do it. It's a gift.
All right. I appreciate that. Hey, one last comment. I'm going to let you go so we can open up the phone line for somebody else. One last comment. I don't think the Nyheim Hines argument is apples to apples because he's not a 3-down back and a goal line back like Melvin Gordon. He just isn't. He's a I wouldn't call him a gadget player, but he's a one-trick pony. He's the guy out of the back going 3rd down, and Melvin Gordon is not that. So
but
I mean, I get your analysis, but that's not a good example.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is a good example because regardless of how the timeshare is divided, he was taking the 3rd down work away from JT in everybody's mind. All the worried Williams out there were absolutely petrified that this guy was a 2-down back because of Nyheim Hines. 50% of all the work is the same thing as getting 1st and 2nd down work and getting no 3rd down work. It doesn't, just because they play differently. That's where I even prefaced that earlier. Like the fact that people argue that they're not, and no offense, Mason Asian, but people argue that they're not the same threat. They were exactly the same volume threat. Nyheim Hines taking away all 3rd down work, especially PPR work, makes JT in some cases less valuable. If that was to play out the way everybody panicked about, that would be even more detrimental than, let's say, Javonte getting 60% of all the work because he gets some of the PPR work. So I understand what you're saying, but sum total, Nyheim Hines, and it's because people have foggy memories when something ends up going a different direction. They can't, and it's the human condition. It is not you lying blatantly about it or Joe lying about it. It's the human condition. No, I don't think it's easy to say Nyheim Hines isn't as big of a threat now because he's no longer a threat. Like, that's the human being in us that wants to lie to ourselves. He was so much of a risk to JT's value. JT was going to be a 1st and 2nd down running back with no PPR work. That would have moved him down further than Javonte getting 60% of all the work and getting some PPR work. You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
I
get you. I get you.
Look, I hear you, Amazing Asian, and stick to your guns. Don't listen to anybody if your gut tells you to avoid somebody, or to draft somebody, because, bro, anything can happen, anyway, and a guy could get hurt. So trust your gut. Just use me when you're on the fence about something and you need help. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to convince.
Oh man, hey. I respect everything you say and I appreciate it. I just wanted to offer a counterpoint because this is just what's
I
on
like
my
it.
mind, you know. And,
I like counterpoints.
you know,
It's great.
Yeah. All right. Hey, I got a good chuckle when you did your midnight stream the other night. You said Breeze's Pieces. I started laughing.
Yeah, somebody else said Breeze's Pieces, but that's a great
Breeze
nickname.
Lightning. That's good. Yeah, tribute to.
Yeah, mine was do a hall of a job. That was copyright me. He's doing a hall of a job. You know, all that stuff's me, but Breeze's Pieces, I can't take credit for that one. Breeze Lightning, I can't take credit for that one, but our community comes up with amazing nicknames. So I'm going to put Breeze's Pieces on a shirt.
Hopefully I can get that on the t-shirt here pretty soon. So.
Yeah.
I'll let you go. Let's open up the phone lines for somebody else to yell at me or whatever.
No, you know,
man.
a lot of people feel the way you feel, Amazing Asian. I appreciate your support. Again, none of that yelling was at you, and I know you know that. Call in anytime.
Like I said, you don't have to preface anything by saying not personal or worry about hurting my feelings. I got thick skin too. I think you mentioned that about the Bruce or somebody earlier. Believe me, I take it as a compliment. If you really, give me a hard time, that's fine. It's all good.
The Bruce acts like
fun.
The Bruce acts like it didn't even happen. Like that's what you call the definition of thick skin. It's like, Bruce, what are you doing? Next call, the Bruce is like, hey Smitty, I have a question. All right, man, appreciate you. Later.
Hey. All right, man.
Call in anytime. All right, dial in. We're going to take one or two more phone calls. It's a good debate, I understand where people are coming from on Javonte. I do get it, but I'm here to try and combat it the best I can because I think it wins you leagues. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who am I talking to?
Hey, it's Tony Garcia. What's going on?
Tony, what's up, my man?
Oh, nothing much, man. I have a question.
Okay.
I got a dynasty league. Somebody wants to get Christian Kirk from me, and he wants to make a trade for him. With that Rashaad Penny news that came out, he also said he's interested in him. He has DeAndre Swift. Should I make him a trade for DeAndre? Trade Penny and Christian Kirk for DeAndre Swift?
Trade Christian Kirk and who? Penny?
Yeah, Rashaad Penny for DeAndre.
Come on.
I know he's going to take it.
He's not going to. First of all, you got to be careful. That's going to get,
lying to you.
Bro. That's going to get vetoed before you even.
Well, there's no
take
veto.
A breath.
There's no veto in this league, man. I thought it was dumb until he started offering some crazy stuff.
Punch it and get ready for that friendship to go down the toilet. But yeah, get that, bro. Get that right now. Go. Like, what are you even doing asking me that question? What are you even doing asking me that question? Are you asking me that because you want to make sure you salvage the friendship? Is that why? Are you coming to me as like my psych degree? Are you coming to me as a psychologist, or are you coming to me as a fantasy football analyst? Because the psychologist in me would say, you're gonna potentially make this person never trade with you again. But you know what? Is it dynasty?
It's dynasty, and I guess my only thing is I know DeAndre is 23, and Penny has already been in the league how many years, and he's barely done anything last year. So
yeah,
he's just super high on Trevor Lawrence.
Hey,
he has Trevor, and he wants Christian.
Okay, so this one's for you. Okay, this is for you even asking this silly question. Hold on. This is for you for even asking such a silly question.
You've just been Smitty approved.
I do Smitty approve you for making one of the best trades I've probably ever seen. So go have a day. Go make a trade. Go spend some of that winnings in advance. Have a nice little lunch on your team.
Go.
That's ridiculous, bro. Yeah, that's.
Look,
you're a league ender.
All because the news came out with Rashaad Penny potentially getting 20 carries a game. I know you guys saw that alert today on Sleeper. So
yeah, and I already combated that on the show. I said that this is one Seattle Times writer that has an opinion. That's like literally my grandma saying, on the top of a freeway overpass, I have an announcement to make. I believe Javonte is going to get 21.5 carries a game. Now that's news. Just because this guy, I know he's got a lot of years at the Seattle Times, but it doesn't make him. Like, he might be a good, fact-based reporter. I'm not ripping on the guy at all. I don't know his work too much. I know him a little bit. I know a little bit of it, but not a lot. He's more of like a he's not a predictive analyst. He's not that kind of guy. He might hear some stuff and try and like relay information, but he's speaking facts right now. Penny is in line to start. If Penny stays healthy, could he continue to start? He sure could, but the odds of him staying healthy, he's not talking about any of that. He's not talking about the fact that, doing this the way that I do, I've done it as long as him. Like he's got no more years on this than I do. I've been doing it from an analyst perspective with an analyst hat on. He's been doing it from a beat reporter perspective for like we're both doing it like 20 years. I think he's been that 15 years or something. I might be doing it longer than him, but I'm doing it from a different angle. I'm not here to talk about what is in front of us. I'm here to talk about what is further away in front of us, like down ahead of the curve, Talking about Penny tomorrow, he is right. Penny will start. And I've been saying that from the beginning, and people don't listen. And they start drafting him in the 4th and 5th round because Smitty said he's top 5, so I'm going to ignore Smitty when Smitty says wait until round 7, but I'm going to listen to Smitty when he says he's top 5 10 running back. So I'm just going to ignore part of it and blame him at the end of the season. So that's what's going to end up happening. People are going to come in week 2 or 3 going, I don't know about this Penny situation. Penny won't stay healthy. If he does, Kenneth Walker still has an opportunity to grab the job. Yeah. But the fact that he has 2 ways of doing it, through brute force, if Penny's still in the lineup, or injury to Penny, Kenny Walker's got an opportunity. Kenny Walkers don't come along very often. I absolutely love his skill set. He is absolutely phenomenal. Best open space runner I've seen come out of college in quite some time. His ability to gravitate and navigate to open lanes and open space is just unmatched. And this whole thing, he doesn't catch passes. Just wait.
I just saw an opportunity because he's been bugging me about Christian Kirk. The dude likes to make trades constantly. And then as soon as that news came out today, he automatically messaged me and said, hey, you interested in trading Penny? And I said, this is a perfect time to put Kirk, Penny together and get Swift. Because his team, I'm telling you, is really not.
Bro,
there's nobody I want.
Bro, go get his first round. Go get his first rounder next after you do this. But hey, you better go do this.
First round.
Huh?
He picked Swift first round.
Well, I'm saying go get his 2023 first rounder because it's going to be Robinson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not saying complicate this one. Do this one and then do another trade. But people are going to make fun of it so bad that he's going to be really scared to trade with you moving forward. But do this trade. Stop talking. You're wasting time here. Go do it. If this gets taken,
I got you.
Yeah, go. Thanks. Let us know when it's complete. Right. Come back and comment later.
I'll let you know. All right.
Yeah. Good God, man. Tony Garcia just ripping off his buddy, just completely blasting him. That's like literally like licking your hand, smacking your friend across the face, then pulling his shirt over his head and then knocking him over in public. Give me Swift. It's the exact same thing. You might as well lick your hand, smack him across the face, drag his shirt over his head, exposing his belly, and just shoving him onto the ground in front of everybody in public, and then expecting him to be your friend after. Good luck with that. The psychologist part of me, the psych degree major in me, is telling you, what are you doing to your friend? The analyst is telling you, go punch the button now and salvage. Ask for forgiveness later. It's better to ask for forgiveness later than to ask for permission up front. Go take Swift from his kung fu, his little tiny, barely grip on Swift, his little itty bitty kung fu grip on Swift, because he's not holding on to him very tight. That's reckless. That's like Jerry Seinfeld, how he doesn't take care of his car, and the mechanic says, you got to take care of this car better, and Jerry Seinfeld's like, no, it is what it is. Then the mechanic takes the car and just starts driving and then calls him and says, I took the car, Jerry. You didn't take care of it. This car deserves more. This is that situation. Go take Swift. He's not taking proper care of him. Robinson's going to end up being on this guy's team. Go get his first rounder. Unbelievable. All right, we are out of here today, guys. We've been live for an hour and 40 minutes. Appreciate every single one of you. I'm live Monday through Friday. Today is Friday, right? Today, I don't know what day it is half the time. I just, a lot of my days run together. Sometimes I don't sleep. and I'll take like a cat nap or something, and my days will run together. I'm like, today Thursday, today's Friday. Live Monday through Friday. Get on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com and get your lifetime membership, your one-on-one text device. Your boy Smitty's here for you. I'm here for you. I work for you, and we'll probably go live tonight, I imagine. I was going to go live earlier today and do a mock draft midday. I always try and do these things, and then stuff comes up. Everything's breaking on my board here, so I had to deal with some things and get this replaced. A lot of stuff came up, and then before you know it, it was too late. Appreciate everybody that joined the Panic Chamber episode. I will see you all later. Get on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com. One-on-one text device. Go. See you tomorrow. Or not see you tomorrow. See you tonight. See you tonight. Appreciate everybody. Corey has the 10 pick in his super flex. Chase, Jefferson picks, or Lance. You need a quarterback, bro, in a super flex, though. If you think Lance could fall to that next pick, I'd probably take Jamar Chase personally, but that's a tough spot to be in, bro. We probably will mock draft tonight. Can't promise it, but I do believe we will. Later, everybody. Appreciate you.
Get breached. Get breached. Get breached. Get breached. Get lambed.
People are getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it.
Get burrowed.